This video is different than most that I make because it doesn't just discuss a topic, it traces the transformation of my beliefs and why that change has made me a more confident Christian than ever before. Recently, in the comment section of one of my videos, someone started attacking the Bible, and they posted a video claiming that the Bible is full of mistakes. In the past, this sort of attack could have really shaken me to my core, but I was really surprised at how little I was affected, and that's because of this one simple fact. Inerrancy is no longer the foundation of my faith. And that might sound wrong to you, maybe even heretical, and if it does, please let me explain. This video is for you. The Christian doctrine of inerrancy is the belief that the Bible is without error. It's true in all that it teaches. Growing up in evangelical churches, it was implied that inerrancy is the central doctrine of Christianity because it gives us absolute confidence in our beliefs about God. And for years, I lived comfortably with that belief. But I didn't realize that I had also internalized another belief. If inerrancy is false, then Christianity is also false. And so if anyone claimed to find a mistake in the Bible, I took that very seriously. In fact, after work, I would go home and spend a whole evening comparing texts in the Bible and making sure they lined up, synthesizing the accounts and doing extra research. I spent hours trying to refute any apparent mistake in the Bible. And one night of study became many nights of feverish research, and it felt like my faith hung in the balance because it would only take one mistake to topple my faith. And I wanted so desperately to go back to when I was comfortable, before I wondered if a faith-destroying error hid among the pages of the Bible. And then one night, it hit me. Maybe I'm misunderstanding inerrancy because what I'm trying to do feels like an impossible task. I can't fact check everything. Some things described in the Bible are only described in the Bible, like the thieves crucified on either side of Jesus or the private conversations that Jesus had with his disciples. So why would anyone believe in inerrancy if it can't be completely verified? When I began to read theologians and big books on Bible difficulties, I noticed that they didn't begin by claiming that everything in the Bible had been fully confirmed. Instead, they started with their pre-existing theological beliefs, like the belief that the Bible is inspired by God and that God can't make mistakes. Therefore, they concluded, the Bible is inerrant. I realized that inerrancy isn't the single pillar on which Christianity rises and falls. It's actually built on other beliefs about God's existence and character and role in human history, so my understanding of inerrancy deepened. But my faith didn't. I was just as afraid as ever. And this is why.
So often Christian apologists give lip service to this idea that if you approach the New Testament documents as you would any ordinary historical document, that they are reliable enough to show, for example, that Jesus thought that he was the Son of God, that he did miracles and exorcisms, that he rose from the dead. But they don't really believe that, because the minute somebody points out an error, they go up in arms as though to admit this one error would completely undermine the historicity of the records of Christ, and that's just false.
I'm embarrassed to say that's exactly who I was. A pastor who would talk about experiencing God and the historical reliability of the scriptures. And even though I thought I believed it, I knew that my faith would crumble if biblical inerrancy failed. And I can see now that that is shockingly irrational. I believe that if the Bible has a mistake in it, then that means that everything it says is false. Or that if the Bible has a mistake in it, then that means that God doesn't exist. Or if the Bible has a mistake in it, then that means that Jesus didn't rise from the dead. But those statements aren't rational. They're huge, illogical leaps that reveal the lie I've believed most of my life, that if inerrancy is false, so is Christianity. But that's not true. Christianity can still be true even if inerrancy isn't. Now, if you're uncomfortable with what I'm saying, maybe it's because you think I'm making an argument for errors in the Bible. I'm not. I'm saying that the truth of Christianity is not based on inerrancy. I still believe in inerrancy, the belief that the Bible is without error, true in all that it teaches, but it plays a much different role in my faith than before.
Christians often start as the basis of their faith with the Bible. The New Testament is essential to understand more, to develop your faith, to know the doctrine. It is essential, but it is built on the foundation of Jesus and what he has done for us, not the other way around. That's idolatry.
Let me say it this way. I used to only believe in Jesus because I believe in the Bible. Now I believe in the Bible because I believe in Jesus. I have no doubt that the Bible can help us know what's true, but that's not what makes it true. The irony of it all is that when we read the Bible and take it seriously, it does tell us to make something the foundation of our faith, the death and resurrection of Jesus. Because Jesus died and rose again, so can I. And that's what makes Christianity true. And it was true before the first word of the New Testament was ever written. In one sense, I get why I wanted to make biblical inerrancy the foundation of my faith. It's far more tangible and controllable than the resurrection of Jesus, which I have to believe without seeing with my eyes or touching Jesus' wounds with my hand. But true Christianity has to be grounded in Christ before all.
See you later.
So last year I was teaching a mini course on why I think Christianity is true, and one of my closest friends asked me why in my presentation was I defending the resurrection of Jesus before the Bible, and I felt really nervous as I explained my reasoning, like some deep, dark secret was coming out. But more recently I started to ask myself why this topic makes me nervous at all. And I think it's because I'm worried that people are going to think I'm attacking their faith, when in reality, I'm trying to strengthen it.
But I felt I had to make this video because the issue I'm discussing is not just about inerrancy. Sometimes people will make a particular interpretation of Genesis or a view of God's sovereignty or a sexual ethic the foundation of their faith. And listen, I'm not making an argument one way or the other because that's not the point. The point is that Christians have a serious throwing out the baby with the bathwater problem. The trend is that when one belief struggles, we often throw out all of Christianity. And I want to say that's just not right. Christ is risen indeed. When I look at so many of the older Christians I respect, I've noticed that they're captivated with Jesus and how the power of his resurrection is transforming their lives today. At the beginning of my journey, I just wanted my questions about the Bible to go away so I could have my security blanket back. What I actually needed was for my trust in Jesus' resurrection to go deeper than words on a page. And thank God, I think it has, and it's changed my perspective on everything.